It appears we are live. Good day, folks. Welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Excited to be with you. I think I'd rather be in the mountains of Idaho still chasing elk because I was having so much fun with my kids out there. But alas, I am back to serve you, the people, to do the job of reporting on the important stories of the day. Please do smash that like as you come in and chat it up with where you are from. Sorry, I was just a little late. I was dealing with something there, and I had a little mic problem and whatnot. But it is it's going to be a good show. All right, I'm going to start out doing this one just a little bit differently. I'm going to go through some memes of the day because I found some really good ones. We're going to do that, but I'm also going to talk about what's going on in the global economy. And if you guys haven't been paying attention, there are some huge, I mean, really huge stories out there dealing with Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, oil, you name it. I mean, it's all over the place. So I'm going to just kind of give you those stories. We'll go from there. But I want to pray real quick for the people down in Florida. I was out, hurricane happened. So Father God, we just pray for the people of Florida. We pray for their homes. We pray for their safety, their peace, Lord, losing so many valuable items to them. I mean, especially pictures. I always think of pictures, Lord, just to calm their hearts, ease their minds, and bring them out of this. And may the waters recede quickly in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. So in relation to Florida, I'm going to start out with the Spanish word of the day is DeSantis. We thought Democrats liked us in Martha's Vineyard. Then they sent us away. Oh, man, that's good stuff. Here, I want you to point this out. I did share this on a YouTube post, but this is really key here. You guys need to know. Here's what you're going to see. You're going to see one side obviously saying, hey, all people need help. And another side, we need to give resources based on equity to communities of color. Even the FEMA chief came out against Kamala Harris's. Kamala? Anyways, her statement on that. Dan Rather, I still can't believe anybody takes this guy seriously. Can we talk about the Americans who see Putin as the ally and Biden as the enemy? Tara Reid responded on Twitter. This is great. Say my name at Dan Rather. Tara Reid. I'm the staffer in 1993 who was assaulted by Joe Biden. He came forward in 1993, 2019, and 2020. He used his political machine to destroy my life and career for coming forward. He is an enemy to decency. Assault is nonpartisan. Okay. Great statement here by Donald Trump Jr. Is there a consensus on what pronouns to use for World War III if our idiot politicians decide it's brilliant to get further involved in a regional conflict between two corrupt nations, one of whom has the world's largest nuclear arsenal? Because that's what really matters. That is so true. We're going to get into Ukraine here a little bit on the show today. For those who don't know, I was out in Idaho elk hunting. On the way back, we came through the great state of Montana. In Billings, Montana, my sons actually got to witness somebody dying in the bathroom from a fentanyl overdose. This is a massive epidemic that's taking place. And a lot of this is crossing through our southern border. It's being manufactured in China. This is... It's appalling. If you remember the opioid epidemic, and that was Purdue Pharma. If you haven't seen the documentary Dope Sick, it really chronicles this all well. Drug companies are out to make profits. I want you to remember this. We are now told to trust drug companies ad nauseum, but yet these are the very people who have preyed upon the lives of our citizens, our children. They just want sales. They don't care where it goes, and this is what we're going through. Traffickers were caught in Connecticut with 15,000 fentanyl pills disguised as nerds, people. This is before Halloween, before kids run around and do trick-or-treating. It's no fun, for my kids to witness somebody dying of this in a bathroom when, they go in to use the bathroom. It was crazy. My oldest son is actually on the ambulance, and he's an emergency responder. And my friend Andrew is a policeman. So he's a first responder. They assisted as best they could. And that's another thing. Policemen get a lot of, all this bad rap, but you know what they're interested? You know what his first interested was saving that guy's life. And, figured out it was drugs right away, dug in his pockets, pulled out the pills. There was Adderall, some different things. Guy was cooking meth, smoking it. It's just crazy. It's so sad. Anyways, the gaslighting has reached astronomical levels. Okay. Soros-backed Philly DA Kastner claims his policies have been very effective. I actually have a video of this interview, and I think I am going to, I'm not going to jump ahead to that right now, but this guy, I'm going to stay on track. You guys always tell me I don't stay on track, so I'm going to try to do that. I'll check comments here really quickly. Yeah, we were skipping Halloween due to laced candy. I see that. Heard of in the 80s. Laced candy. That's right, Alex. So we're going to go on to this one is a great meme. Democrats expect us to believe they can clean up the earth and the environment, yet they can't even clean up their own district and streets. How true is that? Okay. I want to give you some headlines here and some timelines on this. I got this off a Telegram page. Chief Nerd is the guy's name. But on April 27, 2021, okay, you can see this. No link between heart inflammation. Then on May 22nd, looking into inflammation. And then June 23rd, this is all out of Reuters. FDA to add warning about rare. So what's the next headline? I don't know. You guys could take a guess. Why don't you guys coin the next headline there? You got three. Okay. Shipped in the candy package to avoid smuggling. Yes. Okay. So there you got that. This is a big international story as well. Congratulations to President of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, on greatly outperforming inaccurate early fake news media polls and getting into a two-person runoff. I bring this up, people, because so many people are concerned. I just released a video. Please go to my page and watch that video. I give you three reasons, three different sources. I catalog why the left is losing, why they're losing so badly. I made that a shorter video because so many of you asked me to make shorter videos that you can share. So I did that for you. So if you want me to do more of that, then please do share the videos. Otherwise, I'll just keep doing lives. But it's worth reading because it really shows where they're at. So please do go to the page. It's the last upload, not the last live stream. Will be that video. I will have one more video going up later today. That's fantastic too. So, So polling, people are going like, oh, well, it went from a red wave to a red trickle. Stop. I saw somebody quoting the other day on my stream of Fox News polls. I am going to tell you, I have followed and tracked polling since the 90s. I have Fox News polling is some of the worst out there. It's terrible. It always slants left, people. This Fox News polling sucks. I don't know who they have as their polling firm, what the whole point behind it is. People say it's suppression polls, all that. I can just tell you, I know University of St. Cloud, University of Minnesota here in Minnesota, their polls are always favoring the Democrat by 7 points. I've tracked it over the course of history. But there are other polling firms that are good. But they do use polls like this. And so do you understand that Bolsonaro outperformed the polls by around 10%? And I think that's an aggregate of the polls. Okay. This is, do not trust a single poll from Fox News, please. I say that with all sincerity. If it's favoring the Republican, that just means the Republican's up by more. Okay. Kerry likes winning in Arizona. Not only that, she is pulling Masters right up with her, and Kelly is going down. In Nevada, we are going to see a change in the governorship and the Senate out there. People, don't kid yourself for a second. I'll give you more analysis as this goes on, but I am telling you, we are winning. Okay. Now, they are trying to weaponize the whole abortion issue. I talked about that in my video that I released. You have to go watch that one. But they're losing on that too. So now there's going to be a two-person runoff in Brazil on October 30th. So you got this radical left challenger. Now it's down to two. You're not going to be siphoning the conservative votes. It does appear that Bolsonaro is going to win there, so long as things are on the up and up. Anyhow, we move on. Okay, this guy, Sean Smith on Twitter. even in the censorious leftist cesspool that is Twitter, Carrie Lake has 371,000 followers. Katie Hobbs, 110,000 people. Meaning Carrie Lake has over 3 times the followers that Katie Hobbs does. But we're told it's going to be so close. Come on, it's BS. Okay? It's BS. Okay? This is a great news story. All, no, it's not all homosexual. It's not even a pervcom bros is a box office disaster. This thing has so much going into it, okay, and supporting it, like, oh yeah, it's going to be all these things, okay. People don't want to see it. Look, even the signage is disgusting. Okay, seriously. Good night. Think about how perverse that is. It's just dumb. Okay, I want to share this one with you because I think this is so key. I always talk about getting involved at the local level. And the reason I talk about that is this right here. The importance of smaller steps. If we are willing to dig in and make the smaller steps, we can climb the ladder. If the first rung we're trying to get to is too high, people, we're not even going to make it. Okay, not even to the first step. Okay, so you got to take small steps. Our country didn't go downhill overnight. You're seeing it accelerate right now. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's getting so bad so fast. And it is. Please smash that like if you would, so we can get some more people on the stream here. And just keep chatting it up with where you're from if you're new to the stream. And commenting on this stuff. But the bottom line is this. If it's accelerating now, but that doesn't mean that this hasn't been going on for forever. This started way back in the 1950s, well, it started before that with the advent of the modern education system, Horace Mann, Charles Darwin, and all these people. So, anyways, we'll move on here. Yeah, so here it is. Masters is now statistically tied with Kelly. Okay, 48-47. That is from a Democratic polling firm, Data for Progress. Okay, so Lake has what they call coattails, as it were. So I'm going to remove this from the stream. Now I'm going to let you hear from our the great number 45. He has some important things to say, so I want you to see this clip.
Every freedom-loving American needs to understand the time to stand up to this growing tyranny is right now. You don't have time to waste. If you don't want to live under the boot of cruel and vindictive left-wing tyrants, then you need to stand with the MAGA, Make America Great Again movement. And we had it great. We had it great. We had it great.
That's right. It is time. And so don't let them badger you, harass you, intimidate you into silence, because you know what? This is the great movement. And the globalists that want to put us under one world rule can't get enough of their lust for power. I want you to see this. This is out of European Parliament. This is like a 2-minute video, but stick with me through this because you have to watch the whole mass exodus of EU Parliament as he calls out people attending a Marxist college. And all these people in European Parliament who are doing that, and they get so upset. But he's nailing it, and more people are getting more bold, and this is why we're going to win. We need to get the momentum shift, okay?
Generaties Europeanen werden zodoende onderwezen door Marxisten, of ze nu pro-Sovjet of pro-Mao waren. Een goed voorbeeld is St. Anthony's College in Oxford, waar Sigrid Kaag haar MPhil heeft gedaan. En wat weinig meer is in feite dan een opleidingsinstituut voor westerse geheime diensten. Dat wil dus zeggen voor...
Look at her. She's losing it, people. She is losing it. Okay. And the lady next to her is kind of smirking. She's kind of losing it. The guy behind with the and people are like, they're getting uncomfortable because he is calling it out. And this is the thing that needs to happen more in conservative circles. Not only do you need to talk about the problem, but you need to isolate the problem, hone it right in. Here he is honing it in on this gal. Now watch what happens.
Precies de globalistische elites die achter de schermen onze levens willen plannen.
Meneer Baudet, We hebben de afspraak gemaakt. Het gaat niet over de persoon. De minister is hier aanwezig als minister van...
We agreed not to make it personal. People, it needs to be personal right now. It needs to be personal.
Financiën. Het gaat er helemaal niet over waar zij gestudeerd heeft. Dus ik vind ook een soort complot over waar ze gestudeerd heeft, vind ik echt niet gepast.
Oh, so now it's a conspiracy theory. Remember, this is unacceptable. Apparently he has unacceptable views.
Nee, ik wil er ook niet over discussiëren. U gaat gewoon verder met uw betoog. Ja, u gaat verder.
De St. Anthony's College staat bekend als de Spy College in Oxford.
U gaat verder.
En dat is waar de Britse geheime dienst mensen recruteerde. Dat is een gegeven, dat is een feit. Kan iedereen opzoeken. Ja. En het laat zien hoe verbonden het marxisme was met de deep state. Al decennia en nog steeds.
U rondt af, meneer Baudet.
Nou, die mensen dus, die nu weglopen. Ja, die mensen, de erfgenamen van deze misdadige ideologie, die de Franse en Russische revoluties heeft veroorzaakt. Een ideologie die zich transformeerde tot cultureel marxisme in de tweede helft van de 20e eeuw. Die mensen hebben de agenda van het moderne globalisme bepaald. En ik kan niet begrijpen waarom de leden van het kabinet nu weglopen. Het is een feit dat Sigrid Kaag aan St. Anthony's College in Oxford heeft gestudeerd. En het is ook een feit dat dit een perfect voorbeeld is van de verbondenheid van geheime diensten, marxisme en de recrutering van de mondiale deep state.
Ik schors de vergadering even voor een moment.
She suspends the meeting. This guy is nailing it. He's nailing it, people. And then they all start walking out because it's too uncomfortable for them because he is naming names. He is making it personal. So now I want to, so we have this whole energy issue, right? Now this energy issue is wrapped up in multiple things, right? In terms of, you know, not granting new leases, the war on fossil fuels, all of that. Here in the United States, where we used to be energy independent, it deals with robbing our strategic petroleum reserves. I've got a speech by Blinken on here I'm going to throw on. I know we don't like Blinken, but you got to listen to what they're saying, what they're up to. And then it deals with this, the whole green energy push, which obviously some people are going to profit immensely off of if they can get policies in place. It's like, you know, do people need to go to school for 40 hours a year to cut hair? Come on, honestly. Do they? To maintain a license to cut hair? Why is that? Because schools, these beauty schools, want you to have to so that they can then have mandated policies in place that give them business. So they don't even have to be competitive because you have to, okay? That's how it works with all this different stuff. It's like, you know, there's this, I bow hunt. And now there's this goofy thing and people think it's a good thing that you got to go take a bow hunting course just so you can go bow hunt in another state. I've bow hunted my whole life. It's garbage, okay? But it is a way for these little organizations to put policies in place utilizing government, and then they act like they're actual capitalists. That is the antithesis of capitalism. That is fascism, government working in concert with private entities to basically create an outcome they desire. So anyways, I'm going to pop this in, and this is from the World Economic Forum. Yes, our friends at the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. Oh, hey, we passed 300 people on the view. Smash that like and it'll go up. Every time you hit 100, it's like a thing with YouTube's algorithm. Anyways, please do smash that like. Watch this.
You know, we partnered with Google, for example. If you Google climate change, you will, at the top of your search, you will get all kinds of UN resources. We started this partnership when we were shocked to see that when we Googled climate change, we were getting incredibly distorted information right at the top. So we're becoming much more proactive. You know, we own the science and we think that the world, you know, should know it, and the platforms themselves also do. But again, it's a huge challenge that I think all sectors of society need to be very active in.
We own the science. We own the science. There's so many troubling things in that. First off, the fact that Google is working in partnership with the World Economic Forum to change search algorithms so that they're not working to be neutral, but obviously to give you a specific result. Okay. Hey, want to thank my sponsor, MyPillow. I got to throw this in here really quick. MyPillow.com, promo code Lumberjack, and MyStore.com, promo code Lumberjack saves you up to 66%, people. I'm telling you, you can get the coffee to wake yourself up and the pillows to fall asleep on. I got the slippers on right now. Oh, ho, ho, ho. So nice and warm. There's a really big deal going on those slippers right now. Huge money off on the slippers. They're very comfortable. He spent 2 years developing the right slippers. The coffee's fantastic, and those Giza sheets are phenomenal. I always say I never knew sheets were such a thing. So, but to think that they claim that they have the science, okay, that any dissenting view shouldn't be allowed, and that big tech is partnering with them in that way, quite troubling. And I want you to, this is a really, this sums it all up. Watch this. Out of all the investment, the trillions of dollars, look how much it's moved the needle. Watch this.
OPEC's back in charge because we haven't invested in alternatives. That's all Europe did, was invest in new age alternatives.
No,
are you saying natural gas and nuclear and coal are alternatives, or do you mean pie in the sky wind?
Alternative to OPEC production.
Right. Fossil fuel
whether if it's
alternatives
gas, oil, solar, wind, you name it. In fact,
coal, all of the above. It just sounded like you were saying we haven't transitioned quick enough to the green stuff, and that's not what you were saying. But
let's look at.
Okay, so now this is where it gets really good. So I want you to see when he's talking about OPEC, he's talking about strictly the oil, which to that point it's good to release some dependency on that. But then we've got coal here, we've got nuclear, we've got all these other sources. Listen to these numbers; those will blow your mind.
How much did the green investment give us? Here's a stat for you as of January of this year. At the end of last year, overall fossil fuels represented 81% of overall energy consumption. 10 years ago, they were at 82. So all of that investment in renewables you're talking about, 3.8 trillion. Let me repeat that. $3.8 trillion of investment in renewables moved fossil fuel consumption from 82 to 81% of the overall energy consumption. But given the recent events and what's happened with the loss in gas and replacing it with coal, that number is likely above 82. So when we think about what those renewables...
So did you catch that? Now, because of these other factors, there's been no appreciable, not even the 1% anymore.
...have added, because remember, you're adding capacity, but the capacity utilization factor is quite low on them. And then you have Europe making the investment in there, but China making further investments. The net of it is clearly we haven't made any progress. And I think the key point that I was saying is that why OPEC is in the driver's seat, at an unprecedented level, is because we inclusively of everybody outside of OPEC have not adequately invested in overall energy production, infrastructure.
See, we haven't invested in overall energy production and infrastructure. That includes oil right here at home in the United States of America. We need to get oil flowing. It is the lifeblood of our economy. Don't ever kid yourself, okay? I'm going to stop that one. And now I'm going to go to this because this is what you need to understand. Oil prices are popping right now, but there's bigger problems on the horizon. Watch this.
This morning as OPEC Plus mulls a cut in production. Our Brian Sullivan has more on this. And Brian, this is a big story that's been kind of roiling markets over the weekend.
Well, it roiled my weekend. I will say that, Becky, because you wake up Saturday morning and you find out that OPEC has decided after 2.5 years to do their next meeting in person in Vienna, Austria. Of course, they have been remote and virtual since COVID began, kind of doing these monthly Fed-like meetings. They kind of dropped the bombshell on everybody on Saturday and said, yeah, we're going to do it in person, which has led to all kinds of speculation about why. What exactly are they going to do that on short notice they're going to just basically ask every global oil journalist and analyst to drop what they're doing and get to Vienna? The idea is that there's probably going to be a cut anywhere. Listen, depends on who you listen to, 500,000, a million, 1.5 million barrels a day. There is likely a big cut coming. The question is, of course, how much and for how long, as it always is, Becky. The other question is, on Wednesday in Vienna, Austria, will the Russians, Alexander Novak, will they be there in person? Obviously, sanctions on the West. Is there some sort of diplomatic immunity that would enable the Russian Confederation to actually show up at the OPEC headquarters in Vienna? Will the cut be 1 million plus barrels a day? All these questions are now floating out there, leading to a lot of speculation. But U.S. politicians, Becky, well, at least one of them is not happy about this. Ro Khanna, Democratic congressman from outside of the Bay Area in San Francisco, effectively coming out on Twitter and saying, we will stop selling planes and arms to the Saudis if they make some big oil cut. That coming from Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna. I'm not going to read the whole thing and take too long, but there's.
So pull this out, smash that like. I just had that in there real quick. Now, so she's like, "Oh yeah, well we'll just cut off your." That's not an equal playing field, people. The Saudis have a lot of planes already, and they can fuel their planes. We can't fuel ours. I mean, we positioned ourselves to be freaking weak, okay? Let's be honest about this. And then to think that, oh, yeah, we're just going to say, you can't buy any more planes. That's going to do it. What? Then Russia will just go into making planes, set up some manufacturing facilities, and then we'll really be in a crap hole. What kind of idiots are these? The fact is we just need to bump our production up so we're not so dependent on the Saudis, on Russia, on anybody, because we're cracking America. We're Americans, okay? We see problems and we actually solve them, for Pete's sakes. What a joke. Anyhow, sorry, I got a little tangent ridden there for a second, but it drives me nuts, the stupidity of this. Now, so you think about this with Russia, okay, and the Saudis, and we're seeing more alignment between Middle Eastern nations with Russia. And now listen to this, Anthony Blinken. He thinks, okay, so the Nord Stream pipeline was bombed. And apparently, I mean, from all I'm seeing, it's most likely by us, because that's brilliant, because Germans don't need natural gas to heat their homes this winter, but it does allow us to then sell more natural gas. So this is the thing. They're trying to say that the Russians did. What? What sense does that make? Like Russia would blow up its own pipeline. Now they say, well, it was shut down or it was ineffectual or whatever. And if they shut it down completely, then there's all these, liabilities to then starting back up and everything. So I get all that, right? It's like if you shut down an oil pipeline, it's a real thing to get it restarted and all that. Same with natural gas. But let's think about that. So then they're just going to blow it up. I would think there's more costs and more problems to that, wouldn't you? I mean, people, can we just use some common reasoning here? Would there be more problems if you blew up your pipeline as opposed to just shutting off the gas supply through it? Is that anybody? Am I thinking crazy on this? So the Russians who now want to just sabotage the pipeline instead of shutting it off so it's no longer there and it's actually blowing up. Okay, all right. Makes no sense to me. Okay. But now I'm going to have you watch this clip by Anthony Blinken and see where these bozos are going.
It's important to make clear that these pipelines, that is Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2, were not pumping gas into Europe at this time. Nord Stream 2 never became operational, as is well known. Nord Stream 1 has been shut down for weeks because of Russia's weaponization of energy. What we've been doing, and we've also been working on this together for many, many weeks, as we saw the Russian aggression in Ukraine and as we saw the ongoing weaponization of energy by Russia, is to work very closely with European partners as well as countries around the world to make sure that there is enough energy on world markets. And so we've significantly increased our production as well as making available to Europe liquefied natural gas. And we're now the leading supplier of LNG to Europe to help compensate for any gas or oil that it's losing as a result of Russia's aggression against Ukraine. We've worked to release oil from our strategic petroleum reserve to make sure as well that there was oil on the markets and to help keep prices down. We've engaged with the European Union and established months ago a task force to work directly with Europe on ways to decrease demand to help get through the winter, as well as to pursue additional supply and to find ways to speed up the transition to renewables, even as we're getting through this challenging period. So all of that work is ongoing. My own sense, and I mentioned this the other day, is, look, there's a lot of hard work to do to make sure that countries and partners get through the winter. Europe itself has taken very significant steps to both decrease demand, but also look at ways to pursue the transition to renewables at the same time. And ultimately, this is also a tremendous opportunity. It's a tremendous opportunity to once and for all remove the dependence on Russian energy, and thus to take away from Vladimir Putin the weaponization of energy as a means of advancing his imperial designs.
Okay, so did you guys catch that? So who would stand more to blame? I mean, it sounds like we do. I mean, from that, right? If the pipeline is blown up, well, then we would be the supplier of LNG to Europe, and we feel we can then box Putin in. But if Putin decides to end this war on terms we don't like, I mean, they all say he's nuts, but then they're counting on his goodness. It's the biggest fraud. I mean, you're counting on him not wanting to end the life, yet he's dying of cancer and he's a psychopath and he's gone crazy. Which is it? It doesn't seem like it can be both ways. Anyhow, I share this with you because, look, we have, I've got to bring an article into the stream now. I'm going to remove this. Stop screen. Then I've got to do a new screen share and share an article with you that is going to well, here we go. So if you don't know what's going on over in Europe right now, so the Bank of England is basically acting like our Fed was a few years ago. They're doing basically money printing operation right now. That's going to apply pressure to Jerome Powell, I believe, to do the same. He's going to have to slow the rising rates. They're trying to get inflation under control, but they acted too late, and now they're acting too aggressively. It's like so many things that these brilliant people do. They are in knee-jerk reactions to the political winds of the time. But look at this. Investors send Credit Suisse shares on wild ride on restructuring and capital concerns. Shares of Credit Suisse paired losses after earlier plunging as much as 10% Monday. After the Financial Times reported the Swiss bank's executives are in talks with its major investors to reassure them amid rising concerns over the Swiss lender's financial health. Spreads of the bank's credit default swaps, which provide investors with protection against financial risks such as default, rose sharply on Friday. They followed reports that the Swiss lender is looking to raise capital, citing a memo from its chief executive, Ulrich Korner. Okay, now, so it kind of goes into all this, but here, I'm not going to go into the whole article. I want you to get it as a takeaway from this. If you take Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank, it makes just those two make the whole Bear Stearns crash here in the U.S. from years ago look petty, look tiny, look small. It's literally like 10 times the capital. I don't know where this is going. We'll see more, but it seems like right now we have a real energy crisis in Europe with things rising sharply. We've got an inflation crisis. All of this under the tutelage of these wokesters, okay? So when you are talking to people, when you're out there talking to people, in fact, you know what, I'm going to do this. Look, my lives can run a little bit long. I might want to add a little bit more in. That's like I said, I produced 2 shorter form videos that you can share today. One of those is already up. The other will be posted at 3:00 today. Use those to share if you feel people won't listen. I engage with my audience here on live streams. I look at their comments. Sometimes I take their questions and so on. So these shows are destined to be a little long. If you don't like that format, watch some of the shorter form videos. That's fine. But this is for people who want to get a wide variety of news in really what amounts to a short period of time in under an hour. So that's what I'm going. But where I'm going, I should say. But this is on them, okay? And so what we have with all these, whether it's the energy issue, whether it's our southern border, whether it's the worldwide, meltdown of financial systems, it actually would be a good thing. And tell you this. And yeah, it's painful, but I think it would actually be a good thing if we went through some of this. As a result, maybe we can get to some non-fiat currency. The Washington Times, will midterms reprise 1994 and 2010? GOP must tie Biden's horrific record around Democrat candidates next. Now, that's a great piece by the Washington Times. I want you to do something. If you've got a pen and paper handy, take out some notes, because we will win this battle on the ground, hand to hand, talking to people. Okay. So to talk to people, you need the key things to talk about, and this article is going to outline them all. In the 1994 midterm elections, with a liberal Democratic president in the White House in opposition to Hillary Care, the precursor to Obamacare, as their primary campaign weapon, Republicans picked up a whopping 54 seats in the House, 8 in the Senate, and 10 governorships. 16 years later, in the 2010 midterms, confronting another liberal Democratic president, 63 seats, 6 in the Senate, 6 governorships. Okay. Now, what I want you to get about this, look at these governorships. Can you imagine how bad it would be if we didn't have conservative governors at an over 50% rate of states here in the U.S.? Just imagine how bad it would be with more Newsoms, Walzes, Whitmers, Hokels, these kinds of people. Okay. These governorships going local becomes so important. Will history repeat itself yet again in the 2022 midterms? Okay. We'll find out on November 8th, but the electoral ground this cycle is arguably even more fertile for a massive Republican wave. That's because while the policies of Biden and Clinton and Obama were far too liberal for our liking, their presidencies were not nearly the constant five-alarm train wreck that we now have in Joe Biden's White House. Mr. Obama was more prescient than he knew when he reportedly said of his one-time vice president, "Don't underestimate Joe's ability to F things up." Mr. Biden has very much lived up to that prediction, giving us out-of-control tax and spend policies that have fueled inflation in excess of 8% and food prices up 11.4%. Okay. Oh, there must be a click more. Okay. A mindless war on fossil fuels. Okay. And people talk about, well, gas prices have gone down. Yeah, but not back to their previous levels. Gas prices have since come down. Okay. Then there are the precipitous. Okay. So here's what you need to do. Here's where you take your notes, man. Just remember all the key points. These are what will get people upset. Okay. So gas prices have since come down, though not to pre-Biden levels, but only because he has recklessly drained tens of millions of barrels of oil from the National Strategic Petroleum Reserve to replace the oil and natural gas we would be producing were it not for his radical anti-energy policies. So again, a little coaching here. You win with questions. So you're talking to a person, middle of the road, not ultra liberal. I mean, I'm telling you, most of these ultra liberals, you're not going to get them to vote right. I mean, but kind of somebody, maybe they're just a Democrat voter typically, or they're more middle of the road, and you ask them, do you believe we have an energy problem here in America? So you have to ask a question to get that started, all right? So do you believe we have an energy problem here in America? And then they say, well, yeah, I mean, gas is way too high. Well, do you know what the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is? And they say, well, no. Well, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, President Trump had actually topped that off to the highest levels ever seen. And we are now draining it to try and maintain low gas prices before an election. Do you think that's the right thing to do? Or would it be better if we just opened up more gas and oil exploration so we could be independent of nations like Saudi Arabia and Russia? You guys get where I'm going with this? You ask those questions, they have to ask, okay? Then there was the precipitous and humiliating pullout from Afghanistan that left a still unknown number of Americans behind enemy lines and gifted the Taliban with $80 billion worth of military hardware. So again, then you can ask people, did you see our disastrous pullout from Afghanistan? Yeah, I remember something about that. See, this thing, people don't even have memories, okay? And then you say, well, I mean, we left $80 billion in military hardware for the Taliban. Do you believe we should have done that? Any sane person is going to answer that question with a no, okay? Vanessa, you had a great point here. They did. They sold some of that oil to China. Thank you for making that comment. All right, so you can bring that into the equation too. Were you embarrassed by the pullout from Afghanistan? Do you think it was good that those Americans were left behind enemy lines, later tortured and killed, and the Marines who died at the gate? Did you feel good that day? Okay, you got to remind people, okay? There's also Mr. Biden's war on U.S. national sovereignty via a wide open southern border that has seen 2 million or more illegal immigrants and thousands of pounds of deadly fentanyl and other illicit drugs flood into the country in the 20 months since he took office. So there you go again. Have you heard about the problems at our southern border? Oh, no. Well, I mean, right now we're having a massive fentanyl epidemic in the United States. Okay, people dying of drug overdoses all the time. In fact, it just got snuck in as Skittles candy. Did you know that? Okay, that's all coming across our southern border. Do you believe that's a problem? Do you believe we should have a border? So things like that. If all of that weren't enough for GOP candidates for the House and Senate, as well as candidates for governor and other down ballot races to run on, they're the administration's war on real women as it seeks to force the transgender agenda on female athletes and everyone else. That's a huge one, people. That actually is winning liberal women over to our cause, okay? And if they bring up the abortion issue, you could say, hey, Roe v. Wade did nothing to overturn. It just put it back into the hands of the states. Don't you believe in more localized government control? And most people actually still believe if the life of the mother is at risk, that is a decision for the mother, the husband, and to make and to discuss, and then she has the ultimate say over that. Everybody believes that. That's the most absurd argument ever. Unless we forget record levels of violent crime and homelessness, 87,000 forthcoming new IRS agents, a Dow Jones that closed on September 29th, 7,263 points lower than it was on January 20th, 2021. Guys, do you remember during the last financial crisis, the Dow was down in like the 7,000s. That's how much we're going back to. Yet incredibly, Mr. Biden and his congressional Democratic allies have the chutzpah to label Republicans as extreme. You need to take that away from them, people. If the GOP cannot parlay Mr. Biden's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad record into a red tidal wave comparable to those of 94 and 2010, they will surely deserve the title of the stupid party. The sobriquet first bestowed upon it by some accounts as far back as the 1950s. I've always said Republican strategists are the biggest idiots on the face of God's green earth. They run away from every issue. So now, to end this stream, again, I want to ask you to just smash the like. I've got a great video I'm going to share with you here. But please do support the sponsor, MyPillow. MyPillow promo code Lumberjack saves you up to 66%. Also, RevereCoffeeCompany.com. Promo code Lumberjack will save you 10% there. Move bumpers, North Lights, again, all promo code Lumberjack. You'll get big savings there. So that Move bumpers, that was fun to build with my son, Jeremiah. But I want to share this with you. This is phenomenal. You people are going to love this. I know you will. So watch this.
One more opportunity to use this last session week before the elections as an opportunity to campaign on killing innocent unborn children. Dr. Verma. Recently, gubernatorial nominee Stacey Abrams stated, and I quote, "There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound."
There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound.
So let me ask you, is a heartbeat at 6 weeks a manufactured sound? A yes or no will suffice.
So I want to start by
A yes or no will suffice, ma'am. Do I need to repeat the question?
I'd love to answer your question, but like so many things in medicine, it's complex.
I don't believe it's complex, ma'am. It's a pretty simple question. Yes or no?
Again, I'd love to answer your question. I need a little bit of time to do so because...
Okay, all right. Okay, you're not going to answer my question. Let's talk about biology. And let's just keep it real simple. Just 2 yes or no questions. Dr. Kumar, can biological men become pregnant and give birth?
So men can have pregnancies, especially trans men.
So can biological men become pregnant and give birth? This is me asking a question and you answering. I'm asking the question, sir, not you.
Right, and I'm answering the question. Somebody with a uterus may have the capability of becoming pregnant, whether they're a woman or a man. That doesn't make a difference.
Okay, we're done.
Not every person with a uterus.
This isn't complicated. There are biological differences between men and women. Can't believe it's necessary to say this, but men cannot get pregnant and cannot give birth, regardless of how they identify themselves. How many abortions have you performed in your lifetime?
If I can answer your
No. How many abortions have you performed in your lifetime?
likely thousands.
Likely thousands. Okay.
Dr. Bhavik Kumar normally performs between 20 to 30 abortions a day.
You said, quote, abortion bans are inherently racist, inherently classist, and fundamentally part of the white supremacy agenda. How do you rationalize working for Planned Parenthood, an organization founded by Margaret Sanger? Margaret Sanger's entire focus was to decimate communities of color through abortion to eliminate their future generations. So as a doctor yourself, do you believe you have terminated enough unborn babies to justify Margaret Sanger's beliefs and your continuance of her legacy? This is unconscionable. This is inexcusable. I'm thankful it is now criminal, and I look forward to the day when life is again respected across our entire nation. I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to submit a copy of the United States Constitution, which does not, and I repeat, does not include a constitutional right to abortion. The word abortion doesn't even exist in it. And I would also like to submit for the record the Declaration of Independence, which highlights the inalienable right to life.
There it is, and that's ultra mega, people. That is total ultra mega. And, none of that is radical at all. What's radical is the belief that men can get pregnant. I mean, what the heck? They couldn't even answer. These are like such basic questions. The fact that they can't answer them. I mean, you have got to be kidding me. What a farce. The whole thing's farcical. Okay. These people are a joke. Expose them as the joke that they are. Follow me on Telegram. The links are below, local, some of these other places. And I want you to actually, I've got that video on Telegram. You can download that right off Telegram, share it all over social media. But you have got to take that, even if you just do that last little video, okay? Show people how ridiculous these people are, because it's completely ridiculous. Anyways, look, I love you people, okay? We need to win, and we're going to. Please go watch my other video that I put up today. Not because I'm so great or anything like that, but I want you to be able to share this. You've got friends who think that we're just losing. Oh, we're just losing, and all this. And people talk like this, and we're not, people. We're not. That's not what's taking place here. I'm going to share the link to that video for you. Just so I can get that out here and you guys can watch this. I just need to go to uploads here, and then I'm going to. It's only had 728 views right now, so I'm just going to ask that you would get this out, and it's one you can share. It's only 12 minutes. But this will allow you. There it is there. So now you can I'll post it again and again. Okay, look.
This superfood does everything. I have this every day.
I am blown away.
I love it.
I'm amazing.
I just love it.
Yeah, superfood, these ads they run. Anyways, but the bottom line, share that out. Make sure you watch that video, and it's so important that we have hope. I've got another video that'll launch at 3:00 today. That one's only 2.5 minutes. You'll love that one as well. I've got a really great news clip I put in there with a little commentary. So anyways, I want to thank you so much for listening to the show. Stay strong. Keep the courage. Stay in the fight. All right. I love you folks. Peace out.